Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemala Thun by Shemi Shai to the sisters. It's the Isupk Oakland Lashawan Qadash class. Please be sure to subscribe to all our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages. Go to isupk.com. Make sure you pay your tithes. Support this truth. Any Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that wants to learn their culture, be sure to follow up with the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander Jimmy Hunter since 1969. All right, so today we're going to go over the names of the nations as well as some of the 100 most common Hebrew verbs. So just make sure after this class goes up, share while it's on, share. Make sure you subscribe and like. All right, so first of all, Shalom Akim wa Gwathian, Hayawam Anaknawa Ha'abaria, Hawara'ah wa Kawatab, which means peace, brothers and sisters. Today, we will be reading and writing the Hebrew language. All right. Friday is our Lashawan Qadash class throughout the whole nation. Isupk Oakland, we have classes Tuesday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and Saturday, 10:30 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's our Sabbath service. So make sure you lock it in. So as it says, we're going to be reading and writing the Hebrew language. All right. So if you were to take this Hebrew right here and write it how it would look in ancient, remember two things. One, Hebrew has a connector system. So when a word is connected, it looks like a smile. And when a word is not connected, it looks like a frown. So I put a C for connected, put a NC for not connected, which just means it stands alone. It makes its own sound. All right. So let's get it in. Shalom. Akim. Oh, the other thing, my fault, is Hebrew is written left to right, whereas English is right to left. All right. Akim. Why? Ha. Yawam. Anak Nawa. Ha. Ibaria. One moment. Salaki. So, Anaknawa Pa Ibaria. Ibaria. Quara'a. Wa Kawata. All right, all right, Salaki. So this transliteration of the ancient Hebrew in English will look like this in ancient Hebrew. All right, Shalom, Akim, Wa, Agwathin, Ha, Yawam, Anak Nawa, Ha, Ibaria, Wawa, Quawara'a, Wa, Kawata. All right. Peace, brothers and sisters. Today, Anak Nawa, we in the way that you write it, in the English way, you're going to put the Hebrew language before you put reading and writing. So today, the Hebrew language, reading and writing. Today we will be reading and writing the Hebrew language. All right. So, as always, I want to start with the alphabet so you know exactly what you're looking at. All right. So the alphabet, A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Sha, Sa. Hey, gotta be quiet, boy. All right. So this is. Hey, shh. Quiet. Gotta be quiet. Nehemiah. Back on, boy. Nehemiah. Go upstairs. Go. All right. So this is the ancient. This is how it would look in English. So ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka. So the difference between this ka and that ka is this is more of a ka, ka. All right, and this ka is just like ka. All right, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, and tha. So as long as you write this down and copy this, you'll be able to translate the Assyrian, or at least understand the ancient. And when you understand the connector system, once again, it's not. Let me write that better. All right, let's have it like this. These are the two things you need to know to understand the ancient Hebrew. And then the last thing you need to know is what it looks like in Assyrian, so that you can translate it from the Assyrian to the ancient, or even from the Assyrian to the English, you know what I'm saying? So the second English being, what is it in English? All right. So here's your alphabet in the ancient. Now I'm going to write it in the Assyrian. All right. But just always remember this connected system. When it looks like this, that means it's connected, meaning it's connecting two letters. All right. So let me give a. That's probably the best way. So we're like. Lakam. All right, that means bread or to fight. All right, so la, ka, and ma. All right, the la is not connected. The kam is connected. So that's how you know you connecting which letters. La, kam. To get that kam sound, you gotta, and the separated la. The la is not connected. The kam has to be connected with the ka, and the ma have to be connected to make the word. All right. So that's how that works. All right. So now the Assyrian. Ah. Ba. Ga. Da. Ha. Wa. Za. Ka. Ta. Ya. Ka. La. Ma. Na. Sa. I. Pa. Taza. Qua. Ra. Sha. And Tha. Alright, so like this little me. Make this a little straighter. Basically the same thing. It's all good. Alright. I don't like that. It's a lot. That's horrible. Syrian language is ugly in its nature anyway. All right, so this is the Assyrian. All right, so if you understand the Assyrian, you're able to translate it into the ancient and transliterate it into the English as well. All right, so you got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya. Now the difference between the Assyrian is that about 5 letters have a different outcome when it's at the very end of the word. So when Ka is at the end of the word, they drop down, damn near drop down the bottom part of it and make it a longer version of itself because it's at the end. So they drop the end off damn near. So that's how the Ka looks. La, Ma is another one when it's at the end. Instead of looking like an arrow pointing in a direction, you'll know what it looks like when you see it in the print. It looks more like, I don't know, a bad drawing of a square. You know what I'm saying? Like the angle, instead of coming straight up, the angle it in. And that's Ma when it's at the end of the word. Na, the same thing. When it's at the end, they drop the bottom, so it's just a longer hanging end when it's at the end of a word. You got the Sa, I, Pa when it's at the end. Instead of looking like an upside down G, it looks like a bow, a shepherd's bow. Taza when it's at the end, it looks like an exaggerated Y. Qua, Ra, Sha, and Tha. All right, so they have a dot system, but we don't use that dot system. So same thing with a word like Lakam. When you write it in the Assyrian, or when you see it in the Assyrian, it'll be all right, Lakam. So you have that ending instead of that word. Lakam. All right. So if you know how to do that, you know these letters, you'll know how to put the La, Ka, and the Ma for when you write it in the ancient. All right. All right. So now that we've gotten through the alphabet, again, the more you just know the alphabet, the more you'll be able to just see a word in Assyrian and put it in its ancient form. All right. So let's go to the nations now. All right. That's right. Yeah, that's good. All right. So the only nation that is not an enemy or ayab is Israel. Let me see. I want to put that there. Nah, I'll leave it off because I don't want to confuse anyone. All right. So let's get into the nations that are the enemies to Israel, Israel's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. So number one, the most subtle beast of the field is going to be Edom. No, that's not going to work. So like, I just want to make it look right. All right, that's going to be, you'll find them in Genesis chapter 25. All right, that's when where Esau and Jacob come out of Rebekah. You read about that in that chapter. All right. How that would look in the ancient is the one. All right. Then you have Moab. I just saw a video. Dang, Moabite, she was eating 2 turtles. Like, come on, man. That's why they are called the wash pot. All right, that's a lot. So, when you read about them in Genesis 19, them and the Japanese, they are products of incest. You know what I'm saying? That's why they look the way they look, and truthfully, that's why they act the way they act too. You know what I'm saying? So, ma wa ba. Should be enough space. All right. Number 1. Ammon. That's I'm a 1. That's the so-called Japanese. Once again, they are Genesis chapter 19. I, ma, 1. Na, I, ma, 1. Right. Run it back. You can write these down, pause it. Bow. All right, next one is Ishmael. Yashama'ala. All right, they're Hagar's offspring. Well, Abraham's, but they are the seed of the flesh. And that would be Yashemai Allah. All right. Yashemai Allah. All right. After them, we have Elam. Ayalam. That is going to be your so-called East Indians. Hey, go sleep. East Indians. Read about them in Genesis chapter 10. All right, and that's when all the nations are named. All right. How that would look. I, ya, la, ma, I, ya, la. All right. Got Japhet. That's your Hawaiians or your Polynesians. The Eskimos. Samoans, Aboriginal Australians, and the uh, Filipinos. So everybody think Filipinos are Asian. They're not. Asians are Shemitic, whereas the Filipinos, they're Japhetic. They're a totally different seed of people. All right. Samoans, Rocky. Oh shit. Hawaiians and Hawaiian and Aboriginal Australians. So I get just a little bit of room right here. They're going to be at Genesis 10 as well. And how that looks is ya pop. Ya pop. Hope that comes through. Yeah, you can still see. Alright. Once again, the Japhetic people are your Polynesians, your Hawaiians, your Eskimos, your Samoans, your Aboriginal Australians, and like I was saying, the Filipinos. You know what I'm saying? They are not, Hawaiians are not Israelites. Don't let no fake Israelite tell you that and make you think you can get with a Samoan or Hawaiian. They not our people. All right, give it up. Once again, that's at Genesis chapter 10. So when all the nations get named. And these, once again, it's important to know, these are our enemies. You know what I'm saying? The Japhetic people were the least of an enemy to us, but every nation and still had us in some form of captivity. You know what I'm saying? So that makes them the enemy, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? A fact is a fact. All right. Next, we got Ham, which is Ham. All right. Find that again in Genesis chapter 10. All right. Ham is the father of all Africans. All right. Black people are not Africans. All right. We Israelites. Totally different nation, totally different seed. All right. Ham is a seed of people. Is a people, you know what I'm saying? Shem, Ham, Japheth. All right. And that's just Ka, Ma, Kam. All right. A specific African is is Mizraim. All right. Matazarian. All right. That's the so-called Egyptians. In Genesis chapter 10, that is my Cesar. Yeah. Another type of African is Canaan. Canaan. Those are your so-called South Africa. All right. So they land was never their land because they got cursed back in the day of Noah. You know, so Noah cursed Canaan to be a servant of servants. You know what I'm saying? So he started out up in North Africa, ended out in South Africa. South Africa is Canaan's land, but the land of Canaan is Israel. That's Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people's land. All right. Now this is important because mainly you got to know your enemy, but secondly you got to know who's out in the world. You know what I'm saying? You got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 18 nations, all right? It's a lot. You got 18 nations out there. You got 18 enemies. You know what I'm saying? You got 18 nations that you got to rule over, and that we're gonna rule over when Christ returns. So just because you know somebody your enemy, don't mean that you walk around, you know what I'm saying, just weirdly about it. You just intelligent about it. You don't consider an enemy a friend. You know what I'm saying? More than anything, you gotta know who your neighbor is, and none of these are your neighbors. Your neighbor is another Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, woman, or child. You know what I'm saying? But every nation that I'm writing up here, those are your enemies. You gotta notice this is what your Christian church will never teach you, because the Christian church make money off of them. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these nations, they make money off of the destruction of you. So you got some more Africans, more enemies, more people you are not. All right. Again, Genesis chapter 10. All right. Haile Selassie, not your people. All right. The Queen of Sheba, not your people. Nipsey Hussle, I believe he was Eritrean, which is Ethiopian, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off, but he not your people either. I'm saying you have to let Nipsey just die the death of a perpetrator. Same way if Eminem would have died for trying to be black. You had to take that. He was not black. Bill Clinton ain't the first black president. You know what I'm saying? Somebody perpetrating being an Israelite and they suffer one of our curses, that don't make them us. That's just why they should have just stuck to their own code. Nipsey Hussle shouldn't have been a rapper. Nipsey Hussle should have been a liquor store owner like his father. That's what he should have done. All right. Some more Africans. Got put or foot, however you want to say it. So-called Libyans. Read about them in Genesis chapter 10 as well. What? Kush, Kawash, Kawash, put, Pawat, Pawat. Next. You got Gomer. Gamar. What's up?
I got the sky book.
I don't know.
I got the sky.
All right. Those are the so-called French. Let's see. All right. You find out about them in Ezekiel chapter 38. Gamar. These are those nations that's getting pulled back into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, you know what I'm saying, for World War III. You know what I'm saying? With the Russians. You understand? These are part of the dragon with the 10 heads, you know what I'm saying? This as well as the nations I'm going to be writing after this. These is all the nations. These are all modern day white people. You know what I'm saying? There is no difference between Esau or Adawam, like we wrote Edom, Adawam, or any of these nations that I'm about to write down. They live by the sword. So they've stolen the identity of people who were originally Japhetic. They kicked them out of the land because they lies and they murder, and then took on their names, you know what I'm saying, to basically cover up the identity of the people that were there. That's why the scriptures say the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered up the face of the judges. mean, he take it, whoever the white man conquers, he just takes their identity, and over time, he'll teach you, Jedi mind trick you to forget who the actual people were. Hey, live. Thank you. All right. Gamar, Gamara, Gamar. Magog or Magawa. So-called Russians or so-called Russia. You read about them in Genesis, so like Ezekiel 37. All right. Read about how the Lord said he would put the hooks in his mouth and bring him back. That's after the Cold War, when everybody thought the European Union had disbanded. You know what I'm saying? And even now you see how Russia is, even though unless you watch the news intently, you know what I'm saying, you won't know that how much ramping up for war that these countries is doing over there in the, what do you call that? I don't want to call it the Far East, but in Asia Minor and stuff like that. I don't want to use the wrong names, but they're all backing behind the two most elite powers. Either you with the West, with America and his allies, or you with the East, with Russia and their allies. And that's what's going on right now in this world today, because the Lord is going to draw all nations into our land to battle, to fight, you know what I'm saying, in World War III. Again, that's in Ezekiel chapter 37. And you got Javan or Javan, however you want to say it. That's the Greek Isles. All right. Yawan. You read about that in the Apocrypha, First Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 5. And you learn about them in Daniel, the book of Daniel and stuff like that, to the point of the vision that Daniel had. You get the understanding of it when you read it in First Maccabees. All right, Maccabees. All right. That's your one. Now, Tyler, you got to go upstairs with that. You got to turn it down. All right. So the Greeks, they were one of the first gross devastations of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians from their culture. You know what I'm saying? They had the abomination of desolation, in which they put pork on our altar, which is against, black culture, and forced us to not represent ourselves or celebrate our own feast days. You know what I'm saying? Our own customs. So over the over the thousands of years of that type of brainwashing, even though we fought back in those times, that's when, you know, our oppressors really, that was their first real time of stripping us as bad as they stripped us in America. It's it's the same. It's not even worse. It's the exact same thing that we suffered coming into America, having them take over Central and South America and North America, and indoctrinating them in that European culture of theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was horrible to the point where you look at us in 2020, we don't even know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We got to fight with each other to prove that we're people and not just Americans. You know what I'm saying? But this is when you read about the Greeks first doing it. Once again, the Greeks were not white people originally. Originally, they were Japhetic people. The Hawaiians, just Samoans. All right. After that, you got Ashkenaz. And you won, just in case. That's so-called Germans. Read about them in Genesis chapter 10. All right. Teman, Teman, however you want to say it. That's Germany. All right. That's why you got the Ashkenazi Jews, because they just stole an identity, you know what I'm saying, and took it on as themselves. But that also lets you know that those those Jewish people that speak, you know, Yiddish or that Assyrian tongue, they just Germans. You know what I'm saying? It's just the German translation of Assyrian, which is what the Yiddish is, but it's the Assyrian ultimate. You know what I'm saying? So Benjamin Netanyahu, he ain't nothing but a German. You know what I'm saying? Oh. Hold on, Siri. I don't need your help. It's a lot. Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz. All right. Another thing too, the Lord said He gonna take wisdom out of Esau. You know what I'm saying? Which is Teman. You know, so that's why they was able to go to war the way they went to war, even with themselves, meaning America. Because, man, during the time of Hitler, they was cranking out all types of technology. You know what I'm saying? and what's crazy about it too, those fake Jews that claim to be us, they will still to this day not drive a Mercedes Benz or support anything German, and they'll still seek the judgment. Just because I ain't, you know what I'm saying, they'll seek the judgment of anybody that was German. You know what I'm saying, just to get some justice. And that happened a long time ago, back in the 40s. You know what I'm saying, and they'll still find some German that's 99 or 105 today, and they'll be like, yeah, put them in jail. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't forget who their enemy is. It doesn't lose meaning to them. That's why we can't forget that these are our enemies, and it can't lose meaning to us. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if we served a Hawaiian in their house coffee and root beer. If we was a servant to you, you just as bad as the white man that stripped us of our culture, put put iron around our neck and around our wrists and around our ankles, and that's doing us the way they did Ahmaud Arbery. You know what I'm saying? Ahmaud Arbery's murder looks like the paddy wagon going out, like it got an order. You know what I'm saying, from some slave master. Like my slave that ran away. This is what he looked like. I'll give you an award for if you catch him or if you kill him. And they killed that brother in a pickup truck the same way they would it on a buggy with some horses and all that kind of stuff, man. It's horrible when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? But I lost my train of thought. But nonetheless, Ashkenaz, that's your Germans. Read about them in Genesis chapter 10. You got Spain. And as it says, Spain. Spaniards. You read about them in Romans chapter 15, verse 24. The Yash. All right, Christopher Columbus. Them Portuguese. They just Spaniards, man. You know what I'm saying? They started the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? So we have many reasons to not forget who are enemies, and there's just more reason not to intermarry. You know what I'm saying? Not to allow your children to get with their enemies and have children with them. You know what I'm saying? Especially your daughters, man. Don't give your daughters to their sons, because those children are that man's seed.
My laptop is gonna die.
Chill out. I'll give you a quarter in a minute. All right? That's all. Gotta go with that. And your sons, you don't want to get with them with their daughters, because even though that child is an Israelite, still because of your seed, you have sex with the enemy more than anything. Not even the confusion that they deal with growing up and having to get their identity, figure out which identity they're gonna take. Like, you having sex with your enemy, you know, and that's not good for any society. All right. Last but not least, Kittim. So-called Italians. I read about them in Genesis chapter 10. Yeah. Kathaya. All right. Those are your Italians, you understand? Like don't they call them like the niggas of white people? But they not niggas at all. They'll never be us. You know what I'm saying? They just thieves just like the rest of their people. You know what I'm So those are all 18 nations. All right. Cool. Once again, if you just want to write this down, once it goes up, go ahead and just pause and write it down. Take your time. Ain't no rush. But once you got it, you'll always have it. You can always refer to it. All right. So all said done. Please be sure to subscribe to Isupk Oakland on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Go to isupk.com. Make sure you pay your tithes. Support this truth. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, this is the time. It's the time, man. Like it ain't no. It's over. You know what I'm saying? The videos is going up. I mean, it's either serve the Lord in spirit and truth, or are you enjoying this? Because this is hell. All right. So we definitely won't get through all of these, but let's get through some. This is the 100 most common Hebrew verbs. I don't know if it's a hood thing when you hear dogs, but it's dogs in this hood. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. That's what I'm saying. Stop. Okay? No. Not right now, okay? Chill out. Have a seat if you can't contain yourself, right? All right. So what I'll do for this is I'll write it in the Assyrian as well as the ancient. All right. All right. So the first one open is Pawaf. Let's look. Pathak. Get that. Direct is Tazawa. Gather is Wabataza. Bury is Kwabar. Set apart is Qadash. So open Pathak, how it looks in the Assyrian, would be Pa Tha Pa Tha and a Ka. Pathak. In ancient, it's Pathak. Direct Tazawa. In the Assyrian, it's Taza. Why? But let me be in the ancient, it's Taza. Why? All right. So once again, when you understand it and how to take the English look of the ancient, and when you know the Assyrian, which is the language you will most likely see it in, you know how to just graph these Assyrian pictographs to the ancient pictographs. All right. Then you just have to know where the connector goes to get the proper sound. All right. So gather is Quabataza. In the Assyrian, Qua Ba Taza. It's at the end. Perfect. So it looks like an exaggerated Y, or look like a backwards Y, really. No top. The water. All right. In the ancient, Qua Ba Taza. Berry is Quabar. So the Assyrian Quabar. The ancient Qua Quabar. Next is set apart, which is Qadash. And the Assyrian, it's Qada and Sha. Qadash. Let me separate that so it don't look like just two letters. Qadash. And then the ancient Qadash. Back. So on a later lesson, when we go over tenses, you can take any one of these words that we write down and fill in the blank that I'm gonna have set up for you, and then you'll know how to conjugate that specific word based on future, present, and past tense. So next we have rise, call out, come near, meet, and see.
Dad,
What's up?
can I have a Pikachu?
Not right now.
Why?
In a minute. Naphtali. Naphtali. You gotta go somewhere with that, man. It wasn't for this coronavirus. I'd be in a location with these instead of at the crib. But white man is scared. All right. So rise is Quam, or if you were to more or less directly translate it, it would be Quam. Call out is Wara'a. Come near is Quarab. Meet is Quara. And C is Ra'a. So Quam in the Assyrian is going to look like Kawam, which is Quam. All right. In the ancient, it'll be Qua, Wa, Quam. Connect the Qua and the Wa to get the Qua, and the Ma is just the last sound you make, Quam. So technically, Quam would look like QWA. Call out is in the Assyrian, it's Quara. In the ancient, it's Qua. Come near is Qarab. So Qua, Ra, and Ba. And in the ancient, it's Qua, Ra. Meat is Qua, Ra, Ha. And the ancient, it's Qua, Ra, Sloppy. So used to writing in the ancient. Sometimes I put it on their Syrian. Quara. C is Ra. And in the ancient, it's Ra. All right. Cool. All right. So once again, anything you may not have been able to write down, just go ahead and make sure you check this out when it goes up, which will be in the next 10 minutes. Just go back, take a look at it. All right. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK under Commander Junior Hanna. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There'll be another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment, will be found in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. It means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. It's going to be the Feast of First Fruit. So check isupk.com and all ISUPK social media pages. We'll keep you informed on upcoming holy convocations. Any brother that wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, a war scarf. To the brothers, Shalom Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Barakathum. To the sisters, Shalom Yahweh Shemar Lathan Bashim Yahweh.